Come Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday, I'll be rolling real high. It's roll to roll. I'm Benj.
I'm Chase.
And I'm Art.
And it's the Bard episode, so I felt like I had to sing the intro. Now, those of you astute listeners may have heard Dave mispronounce his name there. That's because Dave's not here. He had some emergency life stuff happen, and so we got another friend of ours that we've played with before and that we know to come in and sub in. So, Art, tell the internet who you are.
I'm Art. I moved to Virginia a while ago, so I don't get to see the guys very often. But I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since 25, 26 years ago, DMing for most of it. Play a lot of 5e at the comic book shop for some Adventure League based stuff right now. That's about it.
Oh,
He has a cool
okay. Well,
goatee.
there you go. Actually, Chase, you're the only one on the show who doesn't have a cool goatee. Now that I think about
That's because he went so
You
long
could have
without
just left it off. I'm the only person on the show that doesn't
Well,
have facial hair.
I just wanted to use the same words. Anyway, on with the show then, I guess. So we're talking bards, the second class, alphabetically in the book, because that's how we're doing it. Bards are actually really good in 5th edition. I like them a lot. In previous editions, they kind of sucked. In 3rd edition, they were pretty much garbage because of the way saving throws were calculated. They were not full casters. They only got up to 6th level spells, and since your saving throw was based on the spell level, you were only adding 6 to the spell save difficulty class, as opposed to 9 that a wizard or a cleric or a sorcerer would use. So their spells never worked. They didn't get a lot of great spells, and yeah, they didn't really do anything else. 2nd edition, they did a little bit of everything, but they didn't get like the full set of thief abilities. They didn't get the full set of spellcasting, and they didn't get a full set of like fighter stuff because they were essentially fighter mage thieves. And again, I think in 4th edition the big thing was they could cheat when multiclassing. Like they could take other feats from other classes, but nobody knows because nobody played 4th edition. But in 5th edition, they are now full casters. They do all the things, and it's very, very exciting. So we're just going to get right into it. They're proficient with light armor. They've got a very specific list of weapons that they are proficient with. Simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. And they get proficiency with 3 musical instruments, which is kind of cool. Because that's...
I mean, they're bards.
Yeah, the introductory text says, they use music to make their magic and all that other good stuff. What's really cool is they get to pick any 3 skills. Most classes have like a list of skills you can pick from. Bards do everything, so you can pick any 3 skills you want. They cast spells as arcane spellcasters, so they learn a limited number of spells, and then they get to use their spell slots to cast those. They don't have to prepare their spells because they only know so many, and that's the thing that's holding them back now. Their spell lists are mostly support spells, so you've got things like Bane, Invisibility, blindness, deafness, hold person, hold monster, dimension door. It's a lot of things. They don't get a lot in the damage department because that's not necessarily what they're supposed to do. But they do get, at certain levels, an ability called Magical Secrets, where they get to pick 2 spells from any class list. And that's, when I play my bards, that's where I go for my damage spells. They get an ability called Jack of All Trades, so they get to add half their proficiency modifier to any skill checks they make that they're not already proficient in. So they technically do a little bit of everything. It's not spectacular. I mean, that's going to be a +1 bonus until like 9th level, like a very long time to be at +1 on everything. But the really cool thing is that counts for concentration checks and initiative checks, because those are also stat checks. They get Song of Rest, so people can heal more during a short, or I guess just a short rest, because on a long rest, you get all your hit points. They get expertise, which is really, really cool. You get to double your proficiency bonus on 2 skills that you pick, and then you get it again at 10th level. So you'll have 4 skills that you're really, really, really good at. And they get counter charm. So if they play a little ditty while somebody's trying to use a charm effect on your party members, those party members get advantage on their saving throw. And finally, their capstone ability at 20th level is Superior Inspiration. If you roll initiative and don't have any Bardic Inspiration left, you get 1 use. I didn't talk about Bardic Inspiration. I suck at this. The cool thing the Bards do now, I know,
Fired.
I'm awful.
You're fired.
The really cool thing the Bards do now is they get an extra pool of dice that they hand out to other party members. So when you first get it, it's like 6-sided dice, and then they upgrade the size of the die as you level up. So you get 8-sided dice at 9th level. No, you don't. At 5th level. You get 10-sided dice at 10th level and 12-sided dice at 15th level. So they get bigger and better. And as a bonus action, you can inspire one of your party members, hand them a die, and then on any sort of ability check or attack roll or saving throw, they can choose to roll that die and add it to their result. So they get 1 shot at being really, really successful at something or saving themselves from a very bad thing. So that's Bards in a nutshell. They are the support guys. They help people out. They make everybody else in the party better. And depending on what you pick for your magical secrets, pretty handy in combat as well. Let's talk about subclasses. So, College of Lore. Chase, talk to me about reading.
Hey! It's time to be a nerd, baby. Yeah! So, honestly, every game, because you guys know I normally give the DM perspective, every game that I've DM'd for 5th edition, I gotta say, every bard that a player has ever played has actually gone College of Lore. I don't think I've ever DM'd for a game where someone's gone with the other college. So I guess it's really good. So let me go over it with you. So as far as lore goes, it kind of is what it sounds like. You are the bard that has gone hard down the road of education. Not so much stabbing something, but more into the arcane and study as far as a role-playing standpoint goes. As far as benefits, you do get some proficiency bonuses with an additional set of 3 skills of your choice. So you really are sticking to that. You know a good amount of everything because you went to school, and school is important, kids. You also get a cool ability called Cutting Words. It's similar to the inspiration die that Benj brought up earlier, but you get to use it to stop something from trying to hurt people. Essentially, you say your mom's fat, or go die in a well, or your mother smelled of elderberries, whatever you want to say, and it roll a die, and you deduct that roll from whatever the creature's trying to do from you. And that's a really cool ability. I think it's actually saved the current party I'm running for more times than I can count, probably. Aside from that, though, the other cool things that the class gets is just like a regular bard where they get additional magic spells. The Valor gets even more spells. Yeah, so once you reach 6th level, you can literally go, what 2 other spells do I want from anywhere, from anyone? What do I want? That you can cast. You can't just be like, give me, power word death or wish. But you can load yourself up with whatever spell
Spoiler
you like,
alert, you want Fireball.
that you can cast, and that's...
You want Fireball.
What? Fireball?
Yeah,
Fireball?
What?
How about a quickened fireball? Oh, wait. Wrong class.
Oh, wait, wrong class.
It'll be
We'll
a
get
couple
there.
of weeks.
And then the last thing is... yeah, fair enough. The last thing is just more use of your bardic inspiration, but this time around your skills, just to continue that fact of you know everything there is to know. The party's bard is essentially the font of knowledge for a party. They are oftentimes the party's face and the font of knowledge, which makes them all the better, because they can talk to people and know all the things while they talk to them. But yeah, all in all, the School of Valor is definitely your more arcane path for the...
You keep saying Valor.
I said Valor.
Yes, you did.
That's coming up. Lore is your more arcane path. Valor is not your arcane path. It is more of your fighting path, which I'm going to hand this over to our lovely guest to go over Valor.
Thanks, Chase. As Jay said, it is your fighting version of the Bard. So when you take the class at 3rd level, you do get the access to your medium armor, shield, and actually get all your martial weapons. So you can actually stand up there next to the fighter and not worry about getting hit as much, and you can actually dish out some damage. Your inspiration die, your fighters will like your inspiration die. Your rogues will like it better, especially if they crit. Because not only can you use it for everything else that Benj said, but you can also use it to add damage to your dice. And as the guys have already stated, whenever you crit, you double all the dice. Of course, as you continue and progress up through, you'll get to level 6, where, just like a fighter, you'll get the extra attack feat, which means you'll be able to attack twice. Unlike the lore bards. They're still stuck with the one, but they get all the extra skills, so they get their perks. And if you manage to keep the class all the way to level 14, that's where you get to have the fun of both worlds. Whenever you cast a spell, you get to make an attack action as well for a single attack after casting the spell as part of it.
Which, especially in 5e, every extra attack you get per turn is a really big deal. Regardless of how that attack goes, magic or physically stabbing something.
Extra damage is always extra damage. It's always needed.
Yep.
I'm sorry. My audio
feel
cut
like I
out
missed
for a
something.
second there. I didn't hear anything you said, but I believe you were probably correct. Yeah. Now, when I first started playing 5th edition, we were looking at all the classes and everything looked really, really good for player characters, because in 5th edition, player characters are very powerful. But I mentioned, and I think I mentioned early in this show, actually, towards maybe the first or second episode, that there's really no bad choices except for maybe 2. And the College of Lorebard, or excuse me, not Lorebard. Lorebard's awesome. Lorebard's amazing. Everyone should be one. The College of Valorbard, see what you did to me? The College of Valorbard was one of those things
I reversed
that
it on
I thought, this is not great, because you don't get heavy armor, so you still have to put points in your dexterity. But if you're in medium armor, you don't get to use your full dexterity bonus, so you don't necessarily want to make a dex build. You might still want to make a strength build for long swords or war axes or you know what, a great maul. I don't know your life. But then I started thinking, wait a second. I don't want to cast a spell and then get an attack as a bonus action in melee, because it's not good to cast spells in melee, as I recall. For most of the time, it's not a good idea to cast a spell in melee. And then I thought, wait a second, why don't I just make an archer bard?
Archer would work.
That's how I say.
I never thought about
everybody forgets about it because it's like, ooh, medium armor. Medium armor is a trap, folks. It is a trap. It makes you think, oh, I should get medium armor. And the kicker is, like, you should get the medium armor master feat. But if you play a human bard, you can't take it as your free feat because you're not proficient with medium armor until 3rd level. So it's still a trap.
Yeah.
But you could make a ranged attack after you cast Fireball with your magical secrets at level 10. Oh, nope, not going to have Fireball.
14.
Not going to have Fireball. I guess level 10 I get some magical secrets, so maybe I picked Flame Strike. Right? A little Cleric Fireball action. I mean, you can take any spell level spell. It's as long as you can cast it. Fireball's still not a terrible option. It's not a bad idea to grab a Sorcerer cantrip so you can do some damage. But
I hate to say it, but you've definitely given me an idea for a half-elf bard that uses a bow.
A bow. The last Valor Bard I saw was doing the polearm mastery, so they could stop people before they got to hand-to-hand combat.
That's a good idea too.
And
use a lance or
and stand behind the fighter so that you've got the extra option, so that you're on the front line, but you're not on the front line.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm so glad we brought you in today, Art, because I hadn't thought polearm. I had not thought polearm. That's another.
Got that reach.
Get in there from out of there, right? So I mean, you're still casting and still using your bonus action to make a poke. That's the thing about bards, though, is they are not friends with the action economy. And this is something I'm learning now while I'm playing one is I need a lot more bonus actions and reactions because I do a lot of things. Like I got a lot of choices on the table. So now, not only am I doing resource management with what spells I'm going to cast at which level, but I also have to decide, do I want to save my reaction to use my cutting words to save a friend from being hit, or do I want to use my reaction to cast Counterspell, which is one of those spells I took with my Magical Secrets at 6th level, Fireball and Counterspell for the win.
Good choices.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think our sorcerer took it, so.
Your sorcerer didn't take it.
He went.
He's newish.
Anyway,
it's fine. I'm not upset with him. Remember, I'm the bard. I'm here to cover all the party flaws, right? Like that's my job, right?
You always cover the party flaws.
I'm the fifth man, right? That's how it is. You know, your traditional party is your 4-man leader, defender, striker, controller. Well, I'm the fifth man, right? I'm the guy who covers all the extra missing hole. Of course, our party comp is not like that at all. Our party right now is. We're going to talk party composition after we talk classes and everything that we did wrong in our current game. But absolutely, I mean, so the bard covers a lot of sins, right? He covers the things that the party is missing. So, but
you get the party composition, you're going to want to bring me back for all the craziness I see doing the mods with who knows who's going to be there in a given week.
That's true. You're doing that Adventure League stuff. You just never know what's going to. You don't know who's going to walk in the door. That's exciting.
And then we use Warhorn to sign up for it, so I have an idea who's going to be there when I'm running. But you never know what character they're bringing sometimes. So I've seen groups where they're like, hey, there's no healer and there's no arcane caster.
That's going to be a bad night.
It actually doesn't go that bad. They set the mods up that you have to use for it, so that no matter what party of the composition you have, they still have a chance for success.
Sounds like we're inviting Art back for an Adventure League video.
We're going to invite Art back for a couple of things. First off, like if somebody else can't make it again, or I've already like got him pigeonholed for episodes during the world building, so. Portion of the show.
Yeah, that's when Benj first brought it up.
That's one of those things.
Oh, I know one thing we haven't really talked about. What races are good and bad for a bard?
Half-elf's always good because
half-elf is good at everything. So we listen to the half-elf show. It ran long because half-elves are good at everything. Tiefling isn't terrible because they're funny looking anyway, but they also get a big charisma bump. Lightfoot Halfling isn't terrible because, again, they get a charisma bump and also the dexterity bump, and it never hurts to have my image of a bard in my head is of a nimbly pimbly character in like bright pantaloons, right? Not like a heavily armored, like not walking around in half plate, but bouncing around and juggling and doing the acrobatics, dexy thing. So Lightfoot Halfling feels right to me. Yeah.
That's what I played for my first 5e bard.
I mean, humans do all the things.
Oh, I haven't played a bard yet.
You got to, man. It's fun.
Yeah, that gives you your free feet. Right now I've got a sorcerer, a fighter, a rogue fighter, and a cleric so far that I've been using. So, and a monk. That's a boxy monk at that.
the way the fist, or what?
Yeah. In short, I'm pretty sure as long as you don't really go half orc, you're probably okay.
I had a friend who played a half orc bard in Pathfinder, and he was bad at music on purpose. It was another one of those role play characters instead of like a technically numerically sound character. But he had a good time. So I think he was a half orc with like a pink mohawk. Like it was bad.
Ooh.
But yeah,
I was going
that's
to
about
get
all
the
I got
DM
for bards.
perspective of bards in the world because it says in
Oh,
the intro
sure.
material, not every minstrel is a true bard. True bards are hard to come by. So where do you get your bards from, Chase?
I'm actually kind of glad you remembered that because bards are kind of a big deal in my world. So shout out to another D&D YouTuber. For any of you guys who listen to us, if you do listen to this guy, awesome. If not, I'd like to introduce you all to a guy named Matt Colville. He has his own YouTube channel. He's awesome. I recommend him. And him and I have the exact same perspective on bards. Bards are the official know-all of everything. Nothing official happens unless a bard is present. They are like the weird mixture of wizards and government officials. They make things official by signing off on it and saying, I, so and so, was here to witness this event on blah date. And it holds both up in any arcane schools because it was done by a bard, and it holds up in any legal system because it was signed off by a bard who knows his stuff. So they are set up in my world to really be the heads of anything official. They're the 100% notorietors of the world, and just as the book says, someone who sings and dances and does all that can totally be a bard. You don't have to be the Lori bard or the fighter bard. You can just be I play music and tell tales. But at the end of the day, if a bard tells you a story, it's because that story is true and they are telling a true tale. And that's why bards are always present at battles because they can tell the true story of things. Yes, they might embellish some of it and make it sound better, but at
Where
the
do I
heart,
get
it's
my
always a
notary
true
public seal?
story.
That I'm going to need to
So yeah,
know because it
Uh,
sounds like
I was gonna say, don't all good stories have some embellishment?
yeah, exactly. There you go. But anyway, yeah, that's how bards take place in my world, and even Benj's character that he's playing a bard in our current campaign, he actually comes as a I don't really want to use the word servant because that's not entirely right, but he is a worker of a noble family, and he was one of that noble's family's bards, and he went off with the family's son to document and be his watcher and do what bards do in regards to a noble person. So yeah,
hey, Art, what are bards like in art world?
Yeah. Depends on which world of mine that you go into. I've had too many. I've had some worlds where they're more like what Chase has had, and I've had some other ones where they, I guess the best way to say it's a little bit more of not the notoriety, but I think court jester. But they're always in the taverns, telling the tales, pr- pr- propagating the lore and what's happening in other places. So they'll use it more as the hey, we're letting people know what happened, but they don't necessarily have to be there for it. Just depends which world of mine I'm filling around with at a
Cool.
given point in time.
All right, well that may wrap it up. I was expecting us to go longer on bards because they're amazing, but
Well, you say that, but you haven't touched on the bard specific
well,
spells, and
okay.
this
I
would be a
mean,
good spot to do it.
if we want to pick off the list, what's a good idea for a bard? Now you're making me turn pages and find ye old spell list. Of course
Oh,
you
see, I've
have.
already flipped,
Look at you.
well, since Benj isn't
already
ready
ahead of
for
you.
it, one of the very good spells that I've seen used very effectively, especially once you get up to the about where Benj is at for his bard, would be the hypnotic pattern. Um, if you are lucky enough that your DM has given you one of the lovely bard instruments out of the D&G for magical item, it'll actually make it so that anyone saving for it has disadvantage on the save, and when you can make all the enemies be incapacitated and no additional save until they take damage, the party can pick off the enemies one at a time, which I've seen happen on numerous occasions.
Ironically enough, my party's bard, Benj,
I really do.
wants Gauntlets of Ogre Power. That has been the magic item I have been bugged for
Well,
so
that's
long,
only
there are no
because
words.
the
Since essentially
best
day
weapon that
one,
the
I have
party
been told
has
Gauntlets of
is a
Ogre Power.
longsword, and myself and only one other character who is also a dex build are the only ones proficient with longswords. So I want gauntlets of ogre power so I can use the weapon effectively.
Which that does make
I mean,
sense.
again,
I'm
it's
not going to
just
knock
it's
them
just
for
a
that,
numbers
but
game because our actual frontline hit point bank attacker type character didn't use longswords. He was a pugilist, so he punched things. So there was no reason. Like I would definitely give that to the frontline fighter, but our frontline fighter didn't. Yeah,
wants to be a
our
monk.
frontline fighter wants to be a monk, and
And he's
well,
dead now.
that's on
Spoiler
him.
alert. He got
As far as like
disintegrated. But moving on.
again the
Another fun
yeah,
spell.
the the bard spells, again that are really great, the good support spells. I am in love with hold person because paralysis is a terrible thing to happen. Uh, I straight up serial killer murdered a guy and nobody knows, and I just cast hold person and then like hit him with the sword and just crit like it was
He
not
did.
good
It was bad.
for that guy. It was great for me. I was really happy, and
He got away
literally
with
got away with
absolute murder
murder
scot-free. That
scot
was
free
awful.
because I also have a really good deception check, and that's what Chase had me roll to make it look like arson. I mean, an accidental fire. So that was a good one. Invisibility is good. Dissonant,
Always. And then, of course, you do
yeah.
get the greater invisibility later.
Dissonant Whispers is one of your only damage spells that you actually get as a bard, but it's very very good for control because the creature, if they fail their save, must move away from you. So if they have to use their reaction to move their full movement away from you. So you tank a creature's reaction. If they run through a friendly, like one of your allies' spaces, depending on your dungeon master, your mileage may vary. They should get attacks of opportunity because it moved through their spaces using their movement, and it does psychic damage, which many things do not have resistance to. So that's really really cool.
Well, to go on that boat, I mean, I just gotta throw it out there. It's a cantrip, but in my opinion, it's one of the most hilarious cantrips, even with its minute damage in the game. Because to me, Vicious Mockery, a bard only spell,
I hate it.
is one of the best spells in the game.
I hate it
It's a
because
I'll come to you again.
it doesn't do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Like it's on a D4, whereas all the other damage cantrips are at least a D8. But it
But what makes it good is you literally insult the thing. It takes damage from you randomly insulting it, and then it also has disadvantage on its next
And
attack.
Chase beat me to it.
Which has saved.
I mean, I do
Which has saved
like
some party
giving
members more than I can
disadvantage.
talk
Fairy Fire is amazing at first level because invisible things are bad and giving advantage is good. And then, for higher level spells, Dimension Door, Polymorph, Greater Invisibility, those are good.
Dimension Door is always good. Polymorph is always good. Key thing to remember about Polymorph is compared to
Yeah,
other
I'm
editions,
not a big
though, it
fan
has
of
to be a
that, which is
beast.
why I'm really, really, really looking forward to my 9th level spells when I take True Polymorph and turn into a dragon
Then it can be anything.
forever.
Yep, then it could be anything. That was their way of making druids less broken
Yeah,
in this
that's-
game, though, so I understand.
Yeah, now that
But we'll get to-
I
we'll
have
get to druids later.
Polymorph, I can turn into bigger things than the druid can turn into, which is kind of busted. But at the same time, my character's catchphrase is, "I figured it out." So that's what I said the first time I cast Fireball at 6th level. When my sorcerer cast Fireball, I was like, "Oh, I figured that out!" Kaboom! And so now I'm going to polymorph myself into some sort of a terrible CR 6 or 8 creature, and right before I do it, look at the druid and say, "Hey, buddy, I figured it out," and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, dude,
That's horrible,
I figured
Benj.
stuff out. So they do get raised dead.
I'm a
which
bard.
Is
It's
really
what I
interesting.
do.
They do get cure spells. They get cure wounds and mass
man.
cure wounds and healing word. and I would probably
Healing
assume
word.
mass healing word. No, doesn't look like they do. The classic eye bite, true seeing, resurrection. They get really? They get resurrection? That's insane. Seventh. It's a seventh level spell,
Wow. At
so
what
you
level?
don't have to burn your magical secrets to get. I'm not taking it, by the way. I don't. I've got my list of spells I'm planning to take in front of me right now because I do that. And resurrection is not one of them. Um,
Man, from a role playing standpoint, I would love to see how someone tried to pull that off. What deity bar do you speak to bequeath this
whoever's listening,
amazing gift of resurrection to this dead hero? I
that's
just play a sweet jam and see
see
who
that was
comes,
it. I
man.
wrote on my
That would be
character
funny.
sheet next to deity. I wrote yes because I didn't want to leave any of them out. I didn't want any of them to feel bad. Here's the thing about
You can't insult them.
here's the thing about
They hold
polytheism.
grudges.
Like you
Yeah,
don't have to
exactly.
pick. Like there are a lot of gods and there are a lot of shrines and you can drop a lot of coppers in those shrines. Like it's whatever. I was going to say a little prayer to whoever was appropriate. Like praying to a saint, only bigger. I mean, I'm
Only
just saying.
bigger.
Like if we're gonna, that's. I mean, they're
Anyway,
in there.
that's a good amount of spells.
They get cool stuff. There's some cool stuff, but again, most of it is not direct damage. Most of it is a support type spell. So pretty slick.
The only other addition I'm going to add for some of the descriptions Benj gave is the few damage spells they do have that you mentioned earlier, with your Dissonant Whispers and your Vicious Mockery. So long as your target can hear you, you can hit them. So if they go invisible,
Yes.
the Sorcerer's screwed, you can't firebolt them, but you can still mock them and make them feel
Yeah.
pain.
Oh, you turned invisible? What a wussy.
Pretty much.
Well, that gave
You
away his
just hear
position.
crying from the
Now
corner
I know
of the
where he
room.
is. But Bards.
But anyway,
are
Bards in a
great.
nutshell,
I like
ladies and
Bards.
gentlemen.
I was going to say another thing. For those of you who watch the streams, that's the live plays of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. Every time there's one that's very famous, and for the longest time they had a really really good bard, and he's not there anymore, and it's sad because he was one of my favorites. But I actually watched another stream where they had a bard, and it feels like they felt like every time the bard used their inspiration ability, they had to sing something. And let me encourage you not to do that, because the guy who did sing to give inspiration to everybody was a producer on Glee. He knows something about music
He knows
and
a thing or
singing
two
and
about
songs.
singing.
Like other random people out there on the internet don't necessarily have that kind of background. I don't sing my inspiration, but I also play my bard like he's a warlord from 4th edition. Which my cure wound spell,
He
I
really
don't
does.
like lay my hand. I
True.
give him an attaboy. Like, hey man, good game, right? Like, attaboy, get in there.
Attaboy.
Do what you do, and then a pat on the back, and look, you've got 15 hit points back. My inspiration is more like instruction, like, hey, go for the eyes, or look out for the thing on his face, whatever. Like it's got teeth. It's not necessarily like I don't have to sing like I sang at the beginning of the episode. I can just let them go, and it's sage words of advice. Don't let it hit you. Oh, okay. I do talk trash when I use cutting words, though. That's
But yeah.
stop it. Yeah, it's non optional.
It's required.
Also, I'm a lot better at talking trash than singing. So, all right. Final
Only a little
thoughts on the Bard.
In any other edition, I would say it's a crap class.
Top
Fifth
3.
edition, I dare have to say it's one of the best class.
They did a really good
So
job
good.
bringing the Bard up to the front for this edition.
All right. Well,
Yes,
again,
very
I'm
good
going to
class.
remind everybody to do the things you do on the internet. I hate that I'm the guy who has to say like, share, subscribe, because that annoys the crap out of me of every video I watch on YouTube. But that's not for us. I'm a numbers guy, but I don't need to see our videos having like 4,000 likes. That's not why I'm asking you to like and share and subscribe. I need you to like and subscribe to the videos so other people can find the videos. That because YouTube, when you do a search for whatever, it's looking for popular videos. So that's why I need you to like the videos. That's why I need you to tell your friends about the show, get involved in the show, listen to the show, love the show. The show is your life, or at least your Monday. The show is your Monday. And, we're still trying to build a community. We're here to educate and inspire and enlighten. So please like, share, and subscribe. Dave's not here to tell us where else you can find us. And I am a terrible show host because I don't know either. But there are places on the internet.
It's
Listen to
places on
previous
the internet.
videos and probably later videos where I make Dave tell us again. If you're on SoundCloud, you can check us out on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can check us out on SoundCloud. And also, there's a website and a Facebook page and a Twitter, and comment below. So, I'm Benj,
I'm still Chase.
And I'm Art.
and keep on rolling.